There's a function we use rather frequently, and that's the merging of cells. So one of the things we can do is take a single cell and add it to the cell next to it. So I'm going to do that right here, and I'm going to show you why we have to do that sometimes. So in A1, I'm simply going to type in Michael's Pet Store. And I want you to notice that it goes beyond the limit of the cell. So let me just kind of click here, and you can see that it right now is occupying 2 cells. The reality, as I've said before, is that number one, it really does not occupy more than 1 cell. Each cell is totally independent of every other cell. So if I click in A1, you can see the entire message. If I click in B1, you don't see anything. In fact, if I wanted to, I could actually type content into this one, and you would not be able to see the pet store any longer. Even though if I clicked on A1, it would still be there. This is the problem that you have with a cell that doesn't have text wrapping in it. It will continue to type in a linear form. So all the way across horizontally, it will just keep typing. But when you click on another cell beside it, you won't see the content. So how can I actually take this so that I will always see it, and yet leave the cells below it as if they're still there? So we still have A2 and B2. And just to prove that, I'm going to put some content in here. I'll put in, this is number 1, and I'll go to this one, and this is number 2. And remember, I said this just a little while ago in another video, that when you're typing an alphabetical character, it will always start from the left-hand side. And when you type in a number, and let's just do that, it'll actually go to the right-hand side. So as soon as I press tab to jump to the next cell, it automatically jumps to the left side. And I'll press tab and it jumps to the left side. So alphabetical characters start on the left-hand side and numbers start on the right-hand side. So how do I get this one here? And if I click on B and A2, and then OK, B2, you can see that they both contain some content. Oops, there we go. And if I type A1 and I click on B1, you'll notice there's nothing in B1, and yet there is in A1, but it looks like it's in both. So what I'm going to do is merge the 2 cells together so that there's only 1. And to do that, I can click on A1, drag it across, and you'll notice that it's extended it. And I can come up here to alignment, or I can right click on it, but I'm going to use this approach this time, and I'm going to use merge and center. Now I have several choices. I can merge across, or I can center the text and merge the 2 cells together, or 10 cells together, or 100 cells together. How many cells is irrelevant. And I can also just merge the cells, and this can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the first column or the first row. It can be anywhere inside the document. And of course, if I want to unmerge them, I can simply click on that as well. So here I'm going to center them. There we go. And now you notice that there's no actual gray area in here. They're both 1 cell. And I can see that by simply looking at this rectangle around it, that it really is only 1 cell at this point. But below that, if I click here, it's 1 cell. If I click below it, then I can see that there's still 2 cells. So I've merged the first one, but I've released the other ones. And the nice thing here is I can now come in and make modifications if I want to. And I can make this even larger for font if I want to. But you notice that even if I do this, I may have to merge more cells just to make sure that it fits correctly, or change the sizing of these particular cells. Okay, so these are things that you have to take into consideration when you're modifying a document. So just keep in mind, we can actually come in here and merge several cells together so that we get exactly the right size for the cells that we want, or the content we want to put into those cells.